Hey guys, what's up? It's Dagger123 and we are back for LP number 14 of Turok. And as you can see, we are heading, nearing, and getting closer even to the end of the game. Right now I'm running around and we have the classic, you know, lava. Shit. I think I hit my meteor. You know, lava's everywhere, dinosaurs running around, you know, that whole thing. Also, if at any time I were to agree with the critics on a game, it would have to be the end of Turok, and that would be about the checkpoint system. Now, I know earlier on in my LP, earlier on in the LP, I said something about how, you know, parts of it started to get really difficult for no reason, essentially, because there wasn't really a save as much as there was just checkpoints, and the checkpoints were really, you know, far between. Well, earlier on in the game, the developers did a great job of pacing out things, so it wasn't as hard to accomplish something. Essentially, you could go through the game, and the pacing was set up, and everything wasn't as hard. And as you could see multiple times throughout the game, and multiple times throughout the LP, getting hit 2 or 3 times on normal causes you to die.
Oh man, this doesn't look good.
And right now, you'll notice in the next couple of LPs, more so than in any of the other LPs, I make tons of jump cuts. Now, a lot of people don't agree with that. Some people, you know, think that, you know, if you're being funny or whatever, that's the whole flair of LPs, to see people essentially fail and do terrible. Obviously, they're not looking for, you know, walkthroughs. I don't know. That's just not how I do LPs. I'm not trying to entertain so much as I am just, you know, hey, my name is Dagon123. I like playing these games. Maybe you'll like to listen to me while I play these games. But back to the point, I jump a lot. And that's partly because I think the developers of Turok towards the end realized, oh crap, we gotta, like, essentially finish the game. Now, that's not to say I didn't like how they finished it or how they went about it. It's just that the way they built the very first part of the game isn't consistent with the development and design of the second half of the game and the end of the game like I'm playing now. As you can see, I'm fighting a ton of these bugs, and I get killed because 3 bugs hitting me 3 times in any kind of succession, and I'm dead. Let me put it this way, I got pretty frustrated. I spent about 3 or 4 hours playing what you will see as 45 minutes of gameplay, if less. It's just absolutely terrible. Not the game, but just it was just so frustrating, and it was only because the game was set up like that.
Turok, this way. Let's try around back.
And as you can see, we're heading up to the compound now.
Come on.
Now, if you're a Turok fan of any kind, you'll notice that this compound is very much an homage to the original.
We can get into the base through that grate. I'm not even seeing any troops. Wait, I've got one.
I hated that too, and he was one of my favorites. But yeah, this compound, as you can see if you're a Turok fan, is supposed to be a nod to the original compound because they look exactly. This is one of the various cuts where I had just gotten back into recording the LP, so I start shooting and have the accuracy of a derp. But there's also a lot of times, well, I mean, look at that, like I hit him in the knee, and I sure as hell wasn't shooting arrows. And see, it's funny, I complain about being hit only 2 or 3 times, and then there are some times where I feel like the game deliberately lets you live. You know, like the AI deliberately are hitting you so much that they're like, okay, now our accuracy is gonna be terrible. And there's Mother Superior again. Storming the compound, I died more storming this compound than I did any other time in the game. Literally. Like, storming the compound goes from where I'm at right now to the very front. That one little portal part, and it just... If I had any time to gripe about the game, it would be right now. Because the whole one-man army thing just didn't work at all. Which, I mean, I'm glad that they put something like that in here. You know, they put an homage, a nod to the original Turok. Because, I mean, it is kind of a reboot of the original. But, I don't know, I wish they would have done... I wish that they would have not... The checkpoint system. Really, that's the only gripe I have with this game, and it's kind of a big gripe, really, because it can get more than tedious. It can get extremely unfun, and you have to be a masochist. You have to be someone who enjoys losing in Super Meat Boy. That's the type of person that you have to be in order to, you know, enjoy going back with it. And I can understand a lot of people, you know, in reviews or whatever, being like, I couldn't beat a certain part, and I'm like, I totally understand that. When I first went through Turok, there were some parts that I literally had to sit down for like a week, if not more, because I just couldn't beat it. Like, I got so frustrated that I had to stop. Thank goodness the sniper rifle one-shots pretty much everything. Unfortunately, this entire compound is just ridden with people at the worst possible spots, so you'll end up, you know, trying to jump down there and a raptor will pop out of nowhere, or you'll try to jump down and climb up a ladder and some random asshole will try to get on a turret and shoot you down.
Watch for raptors, guys, they're inside.
Also, look at all this ammo. This was also something else that I didn't like. Every other time in the game, you have literally no ammo caches whatsoever. And then the last, I don't know, hour of the game, it's like, pick any weapon you want. And it's kind of underwhelming, I guess. I guess they wanted you to enjoy having as much ammo. Or they assumed that you would be hiding around corners every 5 seconds. Like I did. I didn't use all the weapons in the game, and mainly because I didn't really like all the other weapons. They're really ineffective compared to, like, the plasma rifle is the be-all end-all gun in this game. It can snipe. It's an automatic weapon. The only other gun that's even halfway decent is the shotgun, and that's because it has a flare, which pretty much redirects any kind of raptor troubles you may have. But other than that, I mean, you have the bow, arrow, and knife, and that's pretty much all you need. Even though I hit that guy. Pretty ridiculous. I think more so now than at the very beginning of the game, they really simulated the feel, the environment, the lighting of the original Turok game towards the end. Like, like this lighting right here reminds me of levels 7, 8, and the boss levels over the campaigner from the original, because, I mean, just in how it looks, and obviously there's the big compound that we're at. I know a lot of people might think that I'm looking at this completely optimistically, but, you know, more than anything, I'm a Turok fan, and I think that people really unfairly judge this game. you know. I mean, I know I feel like I repeat myself. I'm predictable in how I do my LPs, but I mean, it's really hard to not talk about how people didn't give it a chance, because that's what this entire game was. It was one big potential. You know, one big pile of potential, and you either understood it, enjoyed it, you know, went along for the ride, or you were one of the quote-unquote Turok fans who hated it, and it's like, oh, crap, there's a guy right there. That's one of those, pop up at the worst moment times, but it's like, you know, really, I wonder how much you can say Turok fans are Turok fans. It's like being a fan of Rare, or calling yourself a fan of Rare. You're not really a fan of Rare. You're not really a fan of Iguana, because Iguana made every Turok but this one. And no offense to anybody, but whenever you talk about Turok, really the only games people know are the first two. What about Rage Wars? Oh, well, Rage Wars was multiplayer. Well, okay. I played Rage Wars a ton of times, but this was before multiplayer. This was before you could really ship a multiplayer-only game, and that's pretty much what Rage Wars was. So I didn't really know a whole lot of people that had it. I had it. I know people had fun with it, but unfortunately, unlike LAN parties and LAN PC gaming, which was huge in the late 90s, you really couldn't ship a title with just multiplayer. You know, unlike nowadays where you have like what it feels like every first-person shooter is only for the multiplayer if it's a, you know, military-style one. But and then we look at Turok 3, Shadow of Oblivion, and people really didn't respond well to that, but they don't really talk about it either. They're like, meh. Like, they just forget it exists. And then everybody hates on Evolution. Or, again, people don't remember Evolution, but again, Evolution was made by Iguana. So, you know, people are like, well, I was a Turok fan, and this game totally crapped on the franchise. Well, that's like saying that you were a Rare fan, and then moving to Xbox, you know, that's what made it bad. No, Rare was bad before they left. Just the same way with Iguana. Like, Iguana was losing steam. Like, after the second game, they were pretty much done, so to speak. I mean, Rage War was good, like I just said, but 3 was okay, but it didn't really advance as much. And then Evolution had its ups and downs, and that's pretty much it. I mean, and then somebody came along and was like, you know what, we want to reboot the Turok franchise to better associate with today's first-person shooter fans. And unfortunately, instead of getting a bunch of hype and stuff behind it and really doing what it, you know, really capitalizing on the group it was going for, it ended up just going back to what I just said originally, getting people who were essentially butthurt that it wasn't Turok 1 HD. So, if you're a real Turok fan, you will like this game. And, you know, a lot of people say that's elitist, or that's a straw man tactic, but I mean, it's really not. I enjoyed every single Turok game, including Evolution. I know that's hard to say, I know that's, you know, mind-blowing to some. You can enjoy a game that's not popular, but I mean, that's it right there. Most people will just put down a game because they haven't even played it yet. More often than not, people who put down the games are the people who haven't played it. Now, obviously that's not everybody, but that's most people. Especially in the mainstream thinking, the mainstream game world, someone who posts on the internet 99% of the time has probably not played the game. Probably. But yeah, that's my little tirade on it. I really am sore and bitter with people who say Turok fans, but are not willing to accept that rocket to the helicopter. Not willing to accept the fact that Iguana bombed way before this game happened. So that's my little tirade. We are at the end of this LP, and I will see you guys in LP number 15.